Beijing tightens control ahead of Xi's big moment on world stage. The stage is set in the heart of Beijing for a grand display of power and military might that has been choreographed by President Xi Jinping. 8 huge Chinese flags flutter and flank the portrait of Mao Zedong, the founder of Communist China, which sits on top of the Gate of Heavenly Peace overlooking Tiananmen Square, one of the largest public squares in the world. Below are rows of seats reserved for 26 foreign heads of state, including Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong-un, whose attendance is a diplomatic win for Xi. Across the road, near the Great Hall of the People, 2 huge floral arrangements commemorating the end of World War II rise up alongside seating for around 50,000 invitees. The multi-lane road that winds through the square on the final day of preparations, Monday, was once more accessible to the general public. Bicyclists and drivers tried their best to capture the moment by raising their phones. Russia's Putin hails unprecedented ties with China as talks begin. North Korea's Kim arrives in Beijing in armored train. The parade is supposed to commemorate the 80th anniversary of China's victory over an occupying power and Japan's surrender in the war. But it's so much more than that for President Xi. This is a big week for him, with quite a few firsts. He enticed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to visit China over the weekend for the first time in 7 years, rebooting a key economic and strategic relationship. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, which recently came to a close and was its largest gathering ever, was attended by more than 20 world leaders. And a North Korean leader will attend a Chinese military parade for the first time since 1959. The Chinese leader is getting a chance to shine. The SCO summit in Tianjin has allowed him to project power and offer a vision of a new world order which he hopes will challenge the United States. Now attention turns to the parade in Beijing, which will showcase his country's growing ability to rival the US in any conflict. The precise troop formations and what authorities claim to be new hypersonic weapons and unmanned underwater drones will be seen by the leaders of Iran, Malaysia, Myanmar, Mongolia, Zimbabwe, and Central Asian nations. The only Western leaders on the guest list are from Serbia and Slovakia. Kim Jong-un is a surprise addition. His attendance was only announced at the end of last week, and his armored train and usual motorcade flanked by bodyguards will add to the spectacle. Xi is expected to have both Kim and Putin by his side, which will inevitably lead to Western headlines or analysts describing them as the axis of upheaval. While the parade is a show of China's strength and Xi's influence as a world leader, there is also a clear domestic message: pride and patriotism. China describes World War II as the People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, although much of the resistance was not from the Communist Party, but from the nationalists who later lost the civil war to Mao and his forces, and have been largely scrubbed from national memory. In the run-up to the anniversary, several films have been released depicting this struggle, some of which have been box office hits. Reports have been published by state media to foster a right view of World War II history. The campaign has caused some friction with Japan. Last week, Beijing lodged a protest with Tokyo over reports that Japan had asked European and Asian governments not to attend the parade. All of this appears to be part of a rallying cry to the nation, as China struggles with a sluggish economy, youth unemployment, and plummeting house prices. Demand is weak, and the most recent data suggests Trump's tariffs are hitting factory output. And the anti-corruption drive continues, with reports of high-ranking officials being investigated. There is discontent, even disillusionment, especially among young people, and it has seeped through, even on the tightly controlled Chinese internet. The fear that this could spill into the real world is partly what has been driving the extra cautious preparations, which have become a demonstration of the party's control of a capital city home to more than 21 million people. The city has grown quieter as the parade draws closer. Airport security scanners have been installed in some office entrances. All drones are banned, and international journalists have been visited at home, some on multiple occasions, to ensure they get the message. To prevent any protests, guards in army uniforms have been stationed at the entrances to overpasses and bridges around the clock. 3 years ago, when the party chose Xi as its leader for a historic third term, a protester unfurled a banner over a major highway bridge criticizing Xi and calling for his ouster. He was taken away instantly, and we still don't know what happened to him. But that is a moment the party does not want to relive. Communist Party officials have spent months planning and preparing for their first military parade in 6 years. More than 200,000 flags have been put up across the capital. More floral arrangements depicting China's fight against Japan sit proudly on prominent roadsides and roundabouts. There's even a new city lightscape to brighten buildings in the business district. Officials from the Parade Command Office have said the overarching principle is to avoid disturbing the public as much as possible. But for those living in Beijing, the parade has upturned life. Tanks could be heard rolling down the streets during weekly overnight rehearsals, and the sounds of marching echoed far beyond the parade route. People living near Chang'an Avenue, which leads to Tiananmen Square, were told to stay off their balconies to ensure the rehearsals could be held in secrecy. Schools, businesses, and hotels along the parade route will be closed for the next 2 days. There are multiple road diversions and subway line closures, which have effectively paralyzed transport into and out of the city center. Even obtaining a shared city bike, which is frequently the most convenient method of getting around Beijing, can now be challenging. Usually there are hundreds of them lined up outside subway stations and along pavements. But recently city workers have been scooping them up to move them further away from the parade route. Trying to hire the odd one left behind is not an option, the bike will not move. There have been reports in the past that China has used its air force to ensure there are blue skies for the parade. The aircraft can manipulate weather by dropping small particles into clouds to trigger rain 1 or 2 days in advance, to make sure it's clear afterwards. Chinese authorities have used cloud seeding before during a severe drought.